Hi, Jared here with Cool Things in Nature New Zealand edition. Today we're on the Otago Peninsula and we're going to be observing the northern royal albatross, New Zealand fur seals, hooker sea lions, and one of the rarest penguins in the world, the yellow-eyed penguin.
The northern royal albatross can have massive wingspans up to 3 meters in width. That's over 9 feet wide. These long wings have very little muscle, so it's extremely difficult to flap their wings. Instead, they only fly on very windy days like today, and they use a shoulder-locking tendon to use their wings, much like a glider, which expends almost no energy for them. Now, this colony of northern royal albatross on the Tairoa head of the Otago Peninsula is the only albatross colony of any species found on human-inhabited mainland. So these are rare, cool things in nature. Here we're observing the New Zealand fur seal. These seals have ear flaps which make them eared seals. This is different than quote-unquote true seals, such as the leopard seal, who have no external ears at all. They also differ from true seals in that they have use of their hind legs on land, making them much more mobile instead of only being able to wriggle to move. Even though you'll find that adults don't do too much moving on land after a long day of hunting and feeding anyways. Now here you can see this adolescent jump into the water just to swim around and have a good time. And they get swept back into the shallows by a wave with no worries, as New Zealanders would say. We're observing this colony at the perfect time because pups are just getting to be 3 to 4 months old, which is old enough to want to frolic and play around with each other, such as these 3 energetic pups we have right here. This shows a great contrast between playful pups and the somewhat lazier, more relaxed adult. But this adult has a right to be lazy, since he spent much of the night diving to depths as deep as 240 meters, or 790 feet, foraging for food while trying not to become prey himself. The playfulness of these pups, romping around on the rocky shores, or haul-outs as they're called, not only serves as entertainment for themselves, and bystanders like us of course, but it also prepares them for survival by increasing their stamina and agility in case they need to evade those common predators such as killer whales, seven-gill sharks, and great white sharks. Now, learning useful life lessons through fun and interactive methods might be something us humans can apply to ourselves after watching these cool things in nature in action. These are 2 juvenile male hooker sea lions, also known simply as New Zealand sea lions. Hooker sea lions have been a protected species since the 1890s, but their numbers are still in decline as they're recognized as one of the rarest and most endangered sea lion species in the world. The New Zealand Department of Conservation recently recategorized the animal from nationally endangered to now nationally critical. In fact, there are only about 200 sea lions on the whole of the New Zealand mainland, and only 24 of those are female. Since females are so rare, they don't even come around the typical colony except for breeding season, because all the males would be after them non-stop. So instead, males find smaller males to dominate for the time being, which is what's going on between these two. It's a shame such incredible animals are also so rare. As you can see, these guys are very powerful and quite agile for their size. Unlike the New Zealand fur seal, sea lions can alternate their hind legs instead of having to hop, so they can actually run on land at speeds up to 20 kilometers or 12 miles per hour. Of course, they're even faster in the water, reaching speeds up to 40 kilometers or 25 miles per hour. They also have the ability to dive 600 meters or almost 2,000 feet deep while holding the breath up to 40 minutes. But they don't usually go that deep unless being chased by a predator. The reason they can dive so deep and surface so quickly is due to the lack of nitrogen in their blood, which is what prevents human scuba divers from doing the same. And feeding all day has worn these older sea lions out, which is quite the contrast from the younger juveniles, who spend their evenings playfully sparring. Here we have a yellow-eyed penguin attempting to make a dash across the treacherous beach to reach his nest in the hills for the night. But he gets intimidated by the sea lion walking into the shot, so he's turning around to head for the safety of the water again. This is also a great example of what I mentioned earlier about the sea lion being able to alternate its hind legs. What this penguin doesn't know is that only female sea lions will attack a penguin, and that's just so they don't have to leave their pup alone in the shrub while going out to feed. Since these are all males, the penguin wouldn't have any trouble crossing, but he'll just jump back into the surf and try again further down the beach. It truly is a cool thing in nature to see such unique animals interacting in their natural habitat. This is about as close as you can ever get to a yellow-eyed penguin, appropriately named for their yellow eyes and the yellow stripe around their heads. They're the rarest penguin in the world. They're endemic to New Zealand, which means they're only found here. And they're also very shy. As you can see, this one hop, hop, hop into the safety of these shrubs. This native shrub habitat is absolutely essential to the survival of these penguins. They're so shy that they don't congregate in groups on the beach like other penguin species. They typically just stay with their mate or family, and they even need personal privacy from other penguins and all other animals during the mating season. So here we have a pair of mates heading back to their private nest after a long day of feeding in the ocean. This is a mom and dad with their chick, along with a few sheep scattered in the background. Because, let's face it, it's not New Zealand without any sheep. You can tell that the chick from the adults because it hasn't developed a yellow stripe on its head yet. He'll get that after about 1 year. Now today is the chick's first day of not living on the nest. So up until now, he's been used to mom and dad going and feeding during the day, bringing him back food. From now on, he'll need to learn to get in and out of the ocean safely to collect his own food. So you can see the chick bothering mom saying, "Feed me, feed me." So the mom gives him just a little bit of food, then scurries after him saying, "Go get your own food now." Now when the adults are done feeding their chicks for the season, they seek protection to begin the molting process, such as this guy here. Now they need this protection because it lasts about 3 weeks, and they're very vulnerable to predation as they shed feathers to make room for new growth. So we won't bother this guy long since he's already stressed from the molting. So thank you very much for tuning in to this Ecosode of Cool Things in Nature, New Zealand edition.